One of these times I'm gonna get home and there's gonna be one broken in half. It's just inevitable. But to pay to have this stuff delivered and tooled is $4,000 to $5,000, and I can do it myself in one day, less than $1,000 to get a granite kitchen. So things to consider if you're trying to save money on your ADU. All right guys, so this is how we get the granite in the back of the Mommy Missile. I'm at the Granite Supply Warehouse, No Frills Flooring in Medford, Oregon. A lot of people ask me where I get my granite. It's about $350 a slab. They come prefabricated. Both ends are pre-routed, and then the face is also routed and polished. We go with a nice 1/8 inch round. First time I did this years ago, they were like, no way, it's not gonna work. You have to sign this waiver. I was actually putting them in the back of my Subaru Outback, and I've since upgraded to the van, but every time I'm here, some kind of professional will come up and give me a dirty look or talk a little bit of smack. Obviously, I'm not a granite professional. I don't have a huge trailer with an A-frame, but I've hauled dozens and dozens of granite slabs in the back of this car. I always get them home safely. We always get them tooled and put into place. We're lucky to have the guys at No Frills with the right tools to get these slabs loaded up. They just reach out there with the boom picker on the forklift and grab the slab. We're gonna wheel it right out to the van. That's one of the 2 slabs. We just wanna make sure that we carry it vertical. If it lays flat, it'll definitely crack. And then those little bit of voids underneath that straight line, I'll put some shims in. That way when we go over the railroad tracks or we cross over a curb, we don't have any shear that's gonna break that slab. All right, folks, the very basics of cutting your own granite. We mapped out where our sink goes. I like to use a grease pen. That's one of the few things that will stick to granite even when it's wet. So use a grease pen. Preferably the more contrast, the better. This is white on white, but you can still see it. I'm just using a simple skill saw with a diamond blade on it here. These are about 60 bucks at a local home improvement store. And then we use some kind of hose with a nozzle that you can just direct a little bit of water. This is a wet saw, so we wanna make sure that our surface and our blade stays wet at all times. And we wanna wear eye and ear protection because this is loud and gnarly to cut. But it's basic stuff. It's just like cutting plywood, only with a different blade and some water and a little bit slower. But don't be intimidated by these high prices to tool granite when really you can do it yourself. The hardest part, honestly, is probably getting it home and getting it unloaded onto horses. We put 2x6s underneath the granite to support it. We wanna make sure that we always carry it vertical, and then when we lay it down, we have to support the middle. If you ever let granite flex horizontally, that's usually when it breaks. So just be careful carrying it and be safe. Start here on my plunge cut. Now that we're all cut here, we want to make sure that we wash down our granite so we don't get any of these little granules inside. And then we'll dry it with a beach towel so the bottom will adhere to our silicone. Carefully tap those ends with the hammer, and we have our sink cut out. Now we just have to drill our sinkhole and it's ready to install. 16 inches. I like to do a circle where there's enough room. That way it'll suction itself down. Out here, I'm gonna get a circle. That circle will act like a suction cup. Damn, this thing is heavy. One thing we wanna limit when we're working with granite is how many times we handle it. So we weren't able to dry the bottom fully, but we're doing that now. Circles on the backsplash. Big silicone circle, so it'll suction to it. I don't know if you can hear it, but actually it goes, sucks to the wall. Want that to be the same. Looks good. It's gonna be perfect across our stove, and just like that, we put in our own granite for about $350 worth of material and, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours of work, Barnes and I. We got John from American Hardwood Floors and More. All the floors I've done, never been more excited to pay my friend. It's a 3 1/4 white oak. This floor was all kinds of problems. We had half slab, half crooked underfloor, floor float. One of the major benefits of using water over oil is it has considerably less volatile organic compounds. It's not completely scentless, but it's nothing like oil.
We basically put bone and natural seal down to start with. Topped it with 2 coats of Mega 1 and buffed it out today.
Just getting some finishing touches here. This is a Miller Midnight Wanderer is the color, and I'm just putting a quick second coat on this. This was like an off red brick before with a white mortar line, and it wasn't very modern, so some friends of mine, the Maddens, painted a fireplace this kind of dark color, and I saw that on social media and was like, I love that color. It's art, you know? Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to like and subscribe.